What's up, Rabid Razorback family? Hope you're all having a blessed day. Today, I'm going to give y'all some quick observations of Arkansas's Week 4 opponent, Memphis, after watching their Week 3 game at Troy. Starting with their offense and at the quarterback position, where they have a veteran, 6th-year senior and true dual threat in Brendan Lewis. Looks very solid on film. However, nothing that Arkansas shouldn't be prepared for after having competed against Jalen Rayner and Trinidad Chambliss the last couple of weeks. They've got some solid running backs as well. Number 5, Sutton Smith, is their main do-it-all back, and he can certainly make some plays. They've got a couple of others in number 22 and number 21 that are more physical backs that they use more situationally. And I didn't get to see them very much in the Troy game, but I did like the way number 22 in particular ran the ball. And Memphis is a very heavy read option team offensively, so stopping the run will be important. In terms of their wide receivers, they looked pretty average with all due respect. Nobody really stood out as far as being a dynamic playmaker that we're going to really have to key on. It's, as expected, just nowhere near the talent level at that position as what we saw last weekend in Oxford against the Rebels. And in looking at their offensive line, which certainly played well against Troy, I still think, objectively speaking, Arkansas should definitely win that battle up front, getting penetration in the run game, creating pressure in the pass game. Overall, if our defense can cut down on the mental lapses from last week, the blown assignments and the being completely out of position and looking like we don't know what we're supposed to be doing out there, they should have a much better performance this week. As long as we can keep their quarterback in the pocket and force them to try to beat us through the air, I think we should be fine. There's no reason our secondary shouldn't be able to hang with these guys. We're looking at essentially another Arkansas State in terms of their offensive caliber, in my opinion, maybe slightly better. Which isn't an insult, because I honestly believe State has one of the better non-Power 4 offenses in the country. Defensively, I was honestly impressed with what I saw. Their base is a 3-3, but they are very multiple and do a lot of different things to try to confuse the opposing offensive line and quarterback, such as stunts with their defensive line, crowding the line of scrimmage and showing blitz, giving you a lot of different alignments and blitzing in a variety of different ways. Now, Troy's offense, once again, with all due respect, was pretty mediocre, and they even lost their starting quarterback very early in that game. So, obviously, I'm sure they'll play us and our high-powered offense much differently than they did Troy, but they did play quite a bit of man and blitzed frequently. To me, the biggest key for our offense against their defense is going to be making sure that our offensive linemen and tight ends do a good job of communicating and blocking the correct defender on a play-to-play basis. As I said, they do a lot of different things to try to confuse you and disrupt that communication. But as long as our guys can stay on the same page and put the right hat on a hat, so to speak, and as long as Taylon Green can continue to do a good job of reading the D and taking what they give him, we should be able to once again hang a lot of points on the board. They're a well-coached defense, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make some plays and force some mistakes, but ultimately, they don't have the Jimmies and Joes to contain our playmakers. All that said, Memphis is a quality team that obviously should not be overlooked and that definitely has the potential to knock off a Power 4 opponent. In fact, I just seen a stat that I shared today that shows they've actually won 6 of their last 7 games against Power 4 opponents inside the Liberty Bowl, their home stadium. So it's not like they're unaccustomed to being able to rise to the occasion in these situations. I could see them keeping this game competitive for a while as both teams try to settle in and figure each other out, but unless Arkansas's defense shows absolutely no corrections or improvements from last week, I definitely think the Hogs should, keyword should, pull away at some point and win comfortably. There certainly isn't any excuse why we shouldn't handle our business and win this game. Especially after last week's loss, they ought to be more than focused and motivated to not overlook this game and to try to impose their will against the Tigers. Memphis is great in terms of non-power 4 teams, but compared to Arkansas, they are objectively inferior. And if that is not evident by the end of the game on Saturday, then I will be highly concerned for what the rest of the season holds for the Razorbacks. Let me know what y'all think in the comments section.